jazz or you like art or you can find your kind. And yeah, so it makes it easier.
That's enough.
Interesting.
I want to go back to what she said.
The family one.
Cultural ones and things. It is at this point that I tell young people, for those of us who've been married forever.
Oh, it's like forever.
It's like forever. And I'm glad that a young person has realized that even if you fell in love with the one that you were starry-eyed and you just swooped, and these same issues will come up.
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't mean because you loved him crazily, you're not going to find out that he's going to feel entitled to certain positions as a man at some point. I promise you, you marry somebody, you're going to find out new things about them when 25 years later. Why? Because circumstances that didn't come up before are going to come up. And you're going to go, is that
really? That's why I keep talking about the mold, though.
And I like, no, it's not about mold.
It's mold.
Do you know why what you said or you have said that there's never been a divorce? It goes back to our Yoruba, this lady here, Alareno. You know,
what does that mean? What does that mean?
I want definition from Ebu.
Okay, so
and
it's like a mediator, really.
A mediator.
Alarino.
Let me tell you why marriages that are match-made, especially from the family point of view. Let me tell you the only reason they work easier. And though I wasn't match-made by my parents, but our two sets of parents were very, very similar. And when we came back from England, we found out that they were almost the same. What happens there is that each of the parties know that they cannot just fly at every problem.
That's the point at which I must take a break. It's a good place to stop. I'll be right back. We'll be back in the house, but I want her to hold that thought, girl. Okay. I mean, you were talking about, Alari.
The reason, yes, the reason that match-made relationships work, because there are more parties to the transaction than just the two of you, and because of that, there is a respect that you bring to the relationship, very different from if you just were flying at each other, and that in itself allows you people to be less. To be more respectful towards each other and to know that you're here to stay. To be serious. And to know that you're here to stay. And that, honestly, is what,
So for me, is there a need?
For matchmaking?
Yes, today.
I believe there is a need for matchmaking. I have grown-up children and
grown-up boys. Grown-up boys.
Yes, I think there's a need.
I think matchmaking can be successful.
Not hookups.
Are you open to it?
Not hookup. Can we match made you?
Degree. Yes, of course. Like I said, I'm open to meeting people. I love meeting people. I love meeting people, and I say that I live for that one great conversation. Absolutely. You know, and yeah.
We'll invite you to the next True Flutter hangout. But beyond matchmaking, I mean, just having this conversation has sparked something in my mind, because I like to sort of be proactive before I'm a parent, before I'm a mother-in-law or grandmother or whatever, to take things back, like those of us who are, raising children now, to actually deliberately set up relationships, family, friends, with like minds, like families with whom you share values. So there's a large pool of friendships from childhood,
as well.
For the children. It's probably values over anything.
The problem, is that we've done that. And our children are saying, the children of that family are like my brothers and sisters.
I think I would like to round up here by saying that.
When we have suggested it, they've gone, they're like my sister.
For me, I think we should be more, that was too obvious.
We should have been more strategic.
I hope my children are not watching this. We will be doing it.
We should have been more strategic.
Subliminal. And just
but have you called my friend's uncle, my friend's family friend, the father? Uncle, so am I your uncle? Am I your uncle? I'm your father's friend. See these boys? You're not your cousins. You're not your cousins.
So that they can marry each other, So Oh my goodness.
For me, I don't see anything wrong in it. If you have the opportunity to be match-made or hooked up, you never know how life takes you. So be open, be adventurous. Life is for the living, man. Well, make sure that you do your due diligence, and then you're also very cautious. Don't throw caution to the wind because you were hooked up. It may not work out.
Be open. Come on.
Be open. Be open.
Like,
Be open. Be open. Meet more people. Well, the conversation has to end at this point, but do not stop the conversation. Follow us on social media as well. They're on our screens. And please continue the conversation. We want to hear from you. I want you to keep the conversation going in your offices, your houses. Thank you for watching.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
We now start hearing the shoot of gun.
Whatever I've done.
Every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
Who would have thought that the faith of Leah Sharibu would make a nation struggle for survival?
Who would have thought that a line from the Bible would be stronger than a rifle and make this girl just to die down to the night? She is the hero of faith.
Heroes of faith, the scar from the battle is their greatest title, not silver or gold. Heroes of faith, their greatest reward is the cross and the word, not riches untold. When all is said and done, their light keeps shining on.
Who would have thought that 4 years would go by and the nations would stand by in silence and pretend no wrong was done?
Who would have thought that no amount of darkness can quench the smallest light? Oh, daughter of Zion, keep shining on. You are the hero of faith.
Heroes of faith, the scar from the battle is their greatest title, not silver or gold. Heroes of faith, their greatest reward is the cross and the word, not riches untold. When all is said and done, their light keeps shining on.
Something about the Lord. His love is his power, and there is no lover that can give his life and die for his friends. Something about the Lord. His kingdom is forever. He will rule the world with power in righteousness, peace, and joy. He is the hero of faith. Oh,
silver or gold. Heroes of faith, their greatest reward is the cross and the word, not riches untold. When all is said and done, their light keeps shining on.
Shining on.
Heroes of faith, the scar from the battle is their greatest title, not silver or gold. Heroes of faith, their greatest reward is the cross and the word, not riches untold. When all is said and done, their light keeps shining on. Their light keeps shining on. Their light keeps shining on. Their light keeps shining on.
In Nigeria, hundreds of female children get pregnant in their teen years. Teenage pregnancy is often regarded as a negative occurrence in recent times due to social stigma and other adverse consequences like dropping out of school. According to the World Health Organization, every year, an estimated 21 million girls aged 15 to 19 years in developing countries become pregnant, and approximately 12 million of them give birth. Lillian Wama was 19 when she became pregnant, a reality that would turn her life around. Fear, anxiety, and worry became her constant companions.
I found out I was pregnant when I was in school, second year. I had very rough experiences. It was a very, very tough moment for me because I realized that whether I like it or not, my life has changed. And because I knew that I may not be able to control, how my life turns out from that point, I decided to be a girl for as long as I could be. So I tried not to talk about it. I kept it a secret. I didn't talk to anybody about it. I was highly distracted. It was obvious that I was no longer concentrating in class. But I still went to school. I still did all my, normal work, but it was really, really, really bad. It really affected my academics and, myself as a human being. Because the way society approaches or presents a single parent or a single mom or a pregnant girl, it's a totally different class. You're disrespected, you're insulted, you're abused, and you're supposed to get used to all that because, you put yourself in this situation or you found yourself in this situation. No matter what the story is, it doesn't matter anymore. So when I eventually had the courage to go for the test and sit down to see the result, I pretty much knew what to expect. But I sat there just to be sure, just to have some evidence, some paper evidence. And to go for this test, I had to buy a ring. Yeah, I bought a ring. I went for tests about 5 to 6 times and didn't have the courage to stay to see my result or to wait to give my specimen sample, blood sample, urine sample, whatever they wanted. And I was so naive at the time, I didn't know about pregnancy strips. Otherwise, I may have just done it in my bathroom, because it was embarrassing coming out as a student to sit in a lab to be tested for pregnancy, when you're not married. So I didn't know about pregnancy strips. I had a very naive, I was a very naive young girl then. Yeah, so I didn't know about that. And because I wasn't talking to anybody about it, nobody could advise me, okay, do pregnancy strips. I finally found the courage, gathered courage, went, sat, saw my results. I wore a ring, I bought a ring, I wore it from Malam. And I waited for my results. When it came, I looked at it and I smiled. And the lady said, congratulations. I said, thank you. I got up and I left. Throughout, when I stepped out of the lab, the first thing that happened to me was I was laughing and then I started crying.
She kept the news about her pregnancy from her family for 7 months. Lily says she couldn't face her mum. The moment of informing her dad was a tough one.
So it was the point where the baby bump started showing that I knew that, look, if you don't tell them now, they're going to find out and it will be more embarrassing. So I had to call my dad and invite him to come and see me. So he drove 9 hours down to visit me, and I broke the news. And the first thing he asked me was, are you HIV positive? And I said no. And then he broke down in tears. He started crying. I had never seen my dad in tears until that day. And I was scared. I was scared because it was just me and him in his car. And then he drove off. He drove me to my uncle's house to tell them that, to find out if they knew that I was pregnant. Because this uncle of mine lives in the town where my school was. So, and he handed me over to him when I resumed school. So I would go there every weekend to spend the weekend with them, and they didn't know I was pregnant the whole time. So when he took me there, and he asked him, so your daughter is pregnant and you didn't tell me? And he said, how? And he said, yeah, she's pregnant. And you didn't tell me. And he said he didn't even know about it. So it was devastating for everyone. They also saw me as a very responsible girl, and they were surprised. And I was in their house every weekend, so it was even really shocking. And this was a whole family, wife, husband, and other relatives that lived with them at the time. So it was shocking to them that the whole time, I was coming and they didn't know. So, but we all had to deal with it, and I made my dad promise not to tell my mom, because I know that she's softer. My dad, it was difficult for him, but it would be more difficult for my mom. So, and being a woman, I knew that she would want to maybe move in with me, or want me to come back home, or she would want something just to make sure that her eyes are on me, that I am fine. So it's either she moves in with me in school, or she takes me with her back home, or they move me somewhere and she stays with me. Like, she would not take her eyes off me until I have the child. That's the kind of mom I have. So I wanted to keep it away from her for as long as I could. So I and my dad agreed not to tell her until it was a date to my delivery date. So he brought her all the way down to where I was, a day to my delivery date. And she expected to see me, but she didn't know I was, pregnant. So she kept calling me on the phone. Oh, where are you? I thought you'd be waiting for me already since I told you I was coming. I said, yes, I'm writing exams. And I was writing exams, but I had just finished my exams then, my second year exams. So I told her I was writing exams, that I'll be back when I'm done. That same day, she called again in the night. I said, yes, I finished very late and it's risky for me to be on my way to where you are now. So let's make it tomorrow. And she agreed. But by morning, they already, invited the people who would break the news to her and all of that. It was mainly her siblings and, people that she's closest to. So they came, had the meeting, told her I was pregnant. And I was scared. I couldn't face her. I wasn't even in the house at the time. I left. I went to the hospital. I stayed away, for as long as I could. So when they were bringing her back to the house where I was not in the house. And everybody was calling my phone. Oh, where are you? Where are you? I said, I'm in the hospital. They said, what's going on? I said, I just went there to see the doctor. I'll be back. But when the doctor eventually saw me, he said I wasn't good enough to go home. So he kept me there through the night. And when they got the news, they all came to the hospital. My extended family, everybody came. So the doctor told them I can't go home that night. My mom insisted she would stay with me. So they brought her to my room and she saw me, her eyes were swollen, she had a rosary in her hand. She had cried so much. So she looked at me, I greeted her, she didn't answer me. And then a few minutes later she asked me, "Are you okay?" I said yes. And that was all she said. She didn't say anything again until about 8 hours later when I was in labor, around 5 a.m. And she had to call the nurses to tell them I was in labor. So I didn't see her from that point. Okay, before she left, she told me not to scream. That if I scream this once, I would keep screaming whenever I'm in labor for any other child. So that was the only thing she said, and then she left. They moved her to a different room, moved me to a different room. And the next time I saw her was about 3 hours later when the child was born. And she was already carrying the child, so she was happy. And I think that was enough consolation for her because, I mean, seeing that the child was healthy and I came out safe, no complications, you know, normal delivery, because there was this thing about normal delivery, you know, so I think that was enough consolation for her. And although she still had crisis after that, but I mean, for that time, she was fine.
For a young schoolgirl, abortion popped up as an option. She had several fears for her future.
I kept my child because I wanted to keep it. I didn't want to get rid of him because I knew from my background, from the kind of life that I have lived till that point, that if anything happened, I would not even think of getting rid of it. It was difficult, you know, having to deal with all these fears, depression, uncertainties. It was really difficult.
After she told her parents, she found more strength to face schooling and expecting a child. Pregnancy-related school dropouts have become a matter of public concern in the world today. Girls who dropped out of school due to pregnancy usually never returned to school to complete their education after childbirth. The opportunities for social economic advancement are limited. Olanrewaju Jeboda is a school principal at Victoria Island Senior Secondary School. She shares how female students are expected to abandon their education should they become pregnant.
They ask the boy to come back. The girl cannot go back because even during suspension, the pregnancy is growing. And you know, it depends on parents that we allow for termination. It's dangerous. The girl could die. So it's the girl that should always say, zip up. I'm not ready. When I am ready, I will be ready. So government frown about pregnancy, teenage pregnancy, because it's even dangerous.
The Guardian Counselor Department of a secondary school is charged with the responsibility of counseling adolescent schoolgirls who are likely to battle issues like this.
A teenager who is pregnant, I would definitely make her know the consequences of her action. I would give her various options. Definitely abortion is not an option. I would encourage her, she should have the baby. Abortion, like I said, is not an option for her. And after having the baby, she should learn to abstain.
According to medical science, a huge challenge with teenage pregnancy is the psychological trauma.
Okay, so the medical state of a teenage girl who gets pregnant is classified as high risk. High risk because the chances of losing her life in course of delivering a baby is higher than the chances of both people coming out alive. So it's usually termed high risk. What high risk means that the attention is higher and the focus is higher. And of course, the delivery pathway would have to be modified or adjusted to fit that particular child. So it's not something to celebrate or give an applaud to, but if it happens, then it has to be managed very, very carefully. And so that means if her antenatals are going to be the regular antenatals, which are 4 weekly in the first trimester, for them, you can have as much as 2 weekly. And of course, there are going to be regular scannings to find out the growth rate of that child and of course the medical condition of that child.
And pregnancy itself comes with a whole lot of issues. So there is self-neglect. The child is uneducated, unaware. She doesn't know what to do as a pregnant person. That is parental neglect because our society frowns at teenage pregnancy or people getting pregnant before being married.
And according to Lillian, depression and societal stigma are synonymous with teenage pregnancy in Africa.
Because of the way society disrespects or society represents the societal representation of a teenage mom, when a teenager finds out she's pregnant, most times because of fear and the kind of life that they stand to face if they are not strong enough to overcome it, some of us commit suicide. And the suicide rate is really high. It's high, and people are not talking about it. They're not talking about it because we are teenage moms and we are looked at as second-class citizen. I don't know why, but if a normal random young girl commits suicide, even if it's because her boyfriend cheated on her, it will make it, to the internet and it will trend and everybody will talk about it and talk about it from different angles. But when a teenage mom does that, you hardly even hear the news. We just move on every day acting as if teenage moms don't commit suicide. But these things happen every day. They happen every day. And these kids are left, either taken to the motherless baby home or abandoned with the parents or even taken back to the father if the father can be traced and abandoned there. And then a lot of us will hide it and sell the child. Hide it, nobody will know you had a child, sell the child and go on with life. And so long as you do all these things and nobody finds out, you are the moral one. Nobody sees you as, nobody looks at you in a way. But once you are seen pregnant, once everybody has seen you pregnant, they've seen the child, forget it. Except you stand firm and overcome. It's a struggle, serious struggle. So a lot of us commit suicide, and last year I got news of 3 that committed suicide. I didn't know them personally, but I wish that I got to at least converse with them.
Lillian has now moved to Lagos, where she holds beautiful dreams of being married someday and building a lovely home with her husband. But the chances of dating and marriage for women who were teenage mothers in Africa are very slim, she shares.
You are stuck between either settling for somebody that you don't really like, or you just settle. You just settle. You're either choosing between a widower, a divorcee, a man who has issues with, whose family, who has issues having a male child, maybe in the family or something. So they want to adopt your child and marry you so that if for any reason they're not able to get another male child, your child is automatically theirs. So there are so many conditions. So your mind is conditioned to believe that, look, you have to settle though. You don't know if you will get a better deal. So there are always conversations like on social media from time to time. You see people post things like, have you ever dated a single mom? Will you ever date a single mom? What do you think? And then people are reacting in so many ways. As a single mom, when you go through such threads, if you're not strong, you actually fall into depression. Because people just go all blunt. And I'm not saying anybody should paint it, but it's not fair to talk about something you know nothing about.
Lily is now 27. Her baby Munachi is now a cute young boy. She finds joy each day, embracing not just her son, but her decision to keep the pregnancy to full term. Unlike Lillian, there are over 100,000 adolescent pregnant girls in developing countries who would think abortion is an option. PlusTvAfrica went seeking the right answers on abortion from these medical experts.
When is abortion an option in a teenage pregnancy? When that teenager is honestly small for age. So you can see a teenage girl at the age of 13 weighing 30 to 40 kg. That teenager is even at risk. And then when the baby is also abnormal. Of course, when you do your fetal scanning, you can find out that that baby is abnormal and will cause problems because the genetics is not even mature enough to allow for a right baby. So that baby or that conception can be aborted. But then the pregnancy can last till term if all of these are right. You must remember that in recently or that pregnancy is already a genetic misnomer, then you want to abort the baby. And then if you check the consequences, for an example, delivering that child could cause what we call fetal fistulas, vaginal urethral fistulas. All of these consequences are there in abortion. These are some things you must also check. Bleeding is one of the consequences in abortion. So it's not also a good option to just fall back on. All right, but when you weigh the chances of allowing that woman alive, then you want to try the abortion if she is too small for age to carry pregnancy. Are there medical effects for aborting a pregnancy for a teenage mom? Yes, there are. One of them is fistula, and that happens a lot in the northern part of Nigeria. You have cases where women can no longer, there's urinary incontinence. It's called vesicovaginal fistulas. Okay, another one is bleeding, postpartum hemorrhage, post-bleeding, post-abortal hemorrhage till death. And you must understand that in teenagehood, blood volumes are not as massive as blood volumes in adults. So it's possible to bleed in the process of trying to abort a pregnancy. The third one is uterine rupture. You see, the uterus at that level is also friable. And so any instrumentation can rupture or penetrate and cause damage in the uterus. So you also very careful about that. The uterus are very friable. And then, of course, the vaginal pathway is not fully established, even though there was some degree of sex.
Risk of preeclampsia, that is hypertension in pregnancy. And of all these, you can see that teenage pregnancy poses a risk to the person, both medically, psychologically, and otherwise.
Okay, am I saying that teenagers cannot have a normal birth? Yes, 80%. It's been seen that 80% of them cannot have a normal birth, except that teenager is on the big side genetically. That's from family history, is on the big side. If not, from the initial, you should just plan a cesarean section.
With Nigeria's youthful population accounting for at least 43.69% of its almost 200 million population, with women and girls accounting for 99.13 million persons as of the 2019 World Bank statistics, how aware are the teenage girls of teenage pregnancy?
Teenage pregnancy, from my own understanding, when a teenager who is not ready to get pregnant. If I get pregnant for me, I'm going to keep the pregnancy.
Keep the child, tell your parents about it, and seek advice from a respected adult.
Teenage pregnancy is when someone gets pregnant.
Teenage pregnancy is getting pregnant at a teenage age, like unwanted pregnancy, while after engaging in premarital sex.
Are teenage boys also aware of teenage pregnancy?
If a teenage girl gets pregnant, I personally think that the teenager should keep the child, but give it to the appropriate authorities or people who are capable of supporting and raising the child. Then maybe they can come and collect it at a later date when they themselves are able to take care of the child.
Proper sex education can prevent teenage pregnancy. Teenagers being taught to speak up when they've been sexually abused can prevent teenage pregnancy. And parents being more supervisive of their children to prevent any form of abuse taking place can prevent teenage pregnancy.
We catch up with a few Nigerian parents who say they would not abandon their pregnant teenage girls.
If my child come back home with pregnancy, I will feel bad, but at the end of the day, I will not chase her away. I will want to sit her down and ask her some questions about the pregnancy and some other things, which I will know the next step to take from there.
Come home with your pregnancy. You have to present the man that pregnant you, so that I will go and see the person. So, in a case, he will follow the man, because I didn't give my parents unwanted pregnancy.
No, abortion is not good, because at times, some abortions at times may occur to maybe damage of the womb and some other things. So I don't think abortion is good for a teenage girl.
As teenage pregnant mothers daily seek to overcome the odds, break the glass ceilings and achieve excellence across various fields, it would only be appropriate for families, community structures, and government to come to the aid of more vulnerable pregnant teenagers across Africa, if not for anything, at least to meet the Goal 1, no poverty, Goal 2, zero hunger, and Goal 3, good health and well-being of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
So bloating is abdominal disorder in the gastric tract. So when you have hair or gas locked up in the gastrointestinal tract, then you have bloating happening to an individual. You have the person bloated. So what you can do in that process is to either you can take a warm bath. If you're bloated, you can take a warm bath. You can put lemon in your water. But even before you... Lemon in your drinking water? Yes, lemon in your drinking water. But even before you even start on... Bloating could be very, very discomforting. It could cause your stomach walls to be tight. So you could have pains in your tummy. Then you could belch severely. And you can stop that by taking... You can control your bloating, by taking mint, things that have mint. You can take a warm bath. You can walk, take a walk. You can take fruits like the citrus fruits. You know, lemon is equally in the family of citrus. You can take citrus fruits, you can take banana, you can take kiwi, you can take cantaloupe. You know, they're all good fruits for bloating. You can also take, I think I mentioned you taking mint. You can take anything with mint when you're bloated. Your normal fizzy drink, our everyday fizzy drink, alcohol, you know, causes bloating. Then there's some food that have gas, more gas than the others. So example is beans. So you tend to fat when you take beans. You, at times, lactose is another thing that causes bloating. So you fat, you're very uncomfortable when you take some of these fruits, then the cruciferous vegetables, example of cruciferous vegetables are lettuce, cabbage, and cauliflower. They're all in the family. They equally cause bloating. However, these are fruits very good to eat for the body because they are high in fiber. So when you take things that are high in fiber, you need to know how to take them so that you're not constipated. So some veggies that causes bloating, for example, your normal lettuce can make you bloated. Cauliflower, cabbage, you know, can make you bloated. While these vegetables are very good for the body, you need to know how to eat them in small portions. Like they always say, too much of everything is bad. So you take everything in little quantities. They are high in fiber. So you don't just concentrate on food that are very high in fiber and you say you're on a diet. No, that's not how it works. So you take a bit of fiber, you take a bit of protein, you take a bit of carbs, everything together, and you have a very good diet. When you eat too much, eating too much can cause bloating. Drinking too much. Really? You know when you're taking water and you're taking it with straw, At times you take it in with gas, with some air, so you can be bloated like that. You can take citrus. You can take add a bit of lemon into your water and drink to relieve you. You have your mint leaves. Put mint leaf in water. Take it as a tea. It's equally good. You have your kiwi. Take some kiwi. Chew on them. They'll relieve you. You have your grapefruit, your berries. They're equally good. Apple, banana. They are good to combat bloating.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica. Good afternoon. I am Messi Bopo. This is the news update. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on members of the All Progressive Congress, APC, to be united and also support the newly sworn-in leadership of the party. The president said this at the Eagle Square, Abuja, venue of the National Convention of the party, where Senator Abdullahi Adamu emerged as the party national chairman through a consensus arrangement. Our reporter completes this.
While urging members of the party to be strong and united, President Muhammadu Buhari said the convention came at a crucial time when the party was preparing for another round of general election. Also, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, lauded the founding members of the party for forming a political party that dislodged the People's Democratic Party, PDP, after 16 years in power.
This convention is coming at a crucial time when we prepare for another round of general election. Therefore, the need to remain strong and be united for the party to exploit the rich abundant potentials at its disposal cannot be overemphasized. We appreciate the right to hold different opinions and aspirations. However, such differences must not be to the detriment of the party.
Over 4 million beneficiaries of our government empowerment and enterprise program
the market money, trader money, farmer money. Our private sector has, despite constraints, continued to do wonders. Only a few days ago, Mr. President commissioned one of the largest fertilizer plants in Africa and one of the largest in the world. And in a few months, the largest single-line refinery in the world will become operational.
Senate President Ahmed Lawal and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, lauded the President for his role in ensuring executive-legislature harmony. They also hailed the President's commitment to the implementation and completion of projects across the 6 geopolitical zones, and particularly the second Niger Bridge in the southeast.
To construct the second Niger Bridge, they broke the ground and they ran away. They came back, broke the ground for the second time, and ran away. Never did anything. That time, they were pushed out of office. We promised you only once, and we have almost achieved it. By the grace of God, before the end of this year, Mr. President will go and commission the second Niger Bridge. You should know where your bread is buttered, and where your tea will have the milk and the sugar.
All things being equal, we intend to revisit the issue of women inclusion in our constitution students. We must do this because ours is a party of inclusion. This is the promise of the progressive movement, and we have kept the faith. As we have gathered here today from across the regions of our country, representing every religion, tribe, and gender, I urge you, fellow progressives, to adopt this motto of nation building a joint task and act accordingly.
The National Chairman, APC Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, May Malabuni, highlighted the achievements of the Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee.
Let me assure those you whose defections are being challenged in the courts that you have nothing to fear. Your defections did not contravene any law. You will, by the grace of God, emerge successful and victorious in the superior courts at the end of these litigations. Your wise decision to join APC along with millions of your supporters shall never be in vain.
Senator Abdullahi Adamu emerged as the national chairman of the party after he was endorsed by consensus by delegates at the convention along with other new National Executive Council members, and this is coming about a year and 9 months after the Adams-Oshiomhole-led National Working Committee, NWC, was sacked. Senator Adamu went into the election as a consensus candidate following the withdrawal of other aspirants from the contest.
On behalf of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we wish to express our sincere appreciation to the leadership and members of the All Progressive Congress for finding our institution very worthy of being given by consensus. So we have allowed one of our members to be a contestant for the office of the National Chairman of our great party. He is no other person than the single Senator Abdullahi Adamu. APC! APC! Next level!
Also elected through consensus are Ima Enuku from Enugu State as the Deputy National Chairman, South, Abubakar Kyari, Deputy National Chairman, North, and Otumba Iyola Omishore, National Secretary, among others. All the consensus candidates were confirmed through voice votes at the convention.
The Nigerian Police and Military Joint Task Force in Benue State, codename Operation Zender, has killed 4 bandits terrorizing Kum local government area and has recovered AK-47 rifle, G3 rifle, and a locally made pistol and assorted ammunition, as well as local charms. Briefing newsmen at the police state headquarters in Makadi, the state command Operation Zender, CSP Justin Beringda explained that the bandits were ambushed on their way to attack the Bagari village following an intelligence.
The operation was basically intelligence-led operation. It's a kind of intelligence-led policy being introduced by the new Inspector General of Police, Baba Alikali. And actually, we've been tracking them for a very long time. I've been trying to do some intelligent analysis, data analysis. At the end of the day, we were able to lay ambush on them when they were out to come and attack unsuspecting members of the public. And this one would have been deadly attack because they intend wiping out a whole community whom they claim was giving the police or the security agencies information against them.
Benue State Governor Samuel Otom, who was at the police headquarters to catch a glimpse of the bandit in company of Senator Swams, commended the Inspector General of Police, the Police Commissioner, and the Benue State Command Operations Zender, CSP Beringa, assuring his administration will do everything possible to reduce crime in the state.
Sir, if you remember at my meeting address, when I came, we promised the state that our focus is to ensure the people of Benue sleep with their 2 eyes closed. Secondly, to create an enabling environment for economic growth. That we decided to pursue, and we are still pursuing it vigorously. You in commending the Inspector General of Police for paying special attention to Benue State to ensure that we sleep with our 2 eyes closed. Without security, there can be no meaningful development. And these young boys we are seeing here have sent several people to their early graves. Industrious people, farmers, they do not care about them being deceived by this fetish talisman and all over the place. You can imagine.
This is the flag of ceremony of the indigenous survey and charting of the Nigerians offshore waters by NNS Leonard held at the NNS Beecroft Apapa. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, who is a special guest of honor, spoke at the importance of this move on our waters as it would greatly help accelerate the rate of Nigerians' socio-economic growth while enhancing maritime safety and security. The Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awal Zubaru Gambo also spoke about the creation of jobs and economic viability it will bring to the nation.
But to the Chief of the Naval Staff, that if there's anything we can do with the hydrographers, I say it in public so that my colleagues in the ministry will hear it now and not say put it in writing. But I also put it in writing. That I have discussed with the Chief of the Naval Staff to say that, especially in the MASA and MPA, the safety of the water is also part of your responsibility by law. The implication is that if the Navy does not chart it, you will hire somebody to chart it, and probably you will hire the Navy to chart it, and you will pay them. So now that they are charting it for us, we need to partner with them.
Notably, the first attempt to conduct a systematic hydrographic survey of Nigeria's offshore waters was in the 19th century during the British colonial rule, when the United Kingdom's Hydrographic Office surveyed and produced charts for navigation. Pertinently, the two main survey equipment used then by the British surveyors were handheld lead line and sextant for depth measurement and positioning and fixing respectively. As effective as these surveys were then, technological advancement in shipbuilding over time has made the use of survey equipment obsolete, ineffective and inadequate for chart production considering the volume of traffic transiting in the maritime commons. Regrettably, the nautical charts and publications produced with these survey data still form the bulk of aids to navigation that supports over 4,000 ships that call at Nigeria's waters and ports.
And on in sports, Daniel Medvedev outplayed two-time winner Andy Murray 6-4, 6-2 in the second round of the Miami Open on Saturday. The reigning U.S. Open champions and the world number 2 launch 4 aces in the first set and got the break at love in the third game as Mori, 3 years on from hip surgery, moved around the court with a slight limp. Mori, who notched up his 700 career win at Indian Wales 2 weeks ago, fended off 2 break points in the 5th game of the second set, but Medvedev converted on his third chance as the Briton fell trying to pivot along the baseline. The win puts Medvedev 3 wins away from returning to the top of the men's ranking after he lost his spot at the top following a stunning third round loss to France Gael Monfils in Indian Wells. And that's the news update. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. Many thanks for watching. I am Messi Bokwo. There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigeria is witnessing an increase in entrepreneurs, startup companies, and small and micro-scale businesses. Economists say one of the major reasons for this is a problem that has plagued the country: unemployment. Many Nigerians spend several years at home jobless before securing their first jobs or settling for other options. The National Bureau of Statistics puts the country's unemployment rate at 33.3%, the highest on record. Rather than sit at home and complain, more young people are becoming innovative and turning their hobbies into businesses. Olayanwaju sold clothes in his undergraduate days to make extra income. He now does the same thing, but this time around to make a living.
It came as a motivation for me since my university period, because I actually went into selling of NYSC kits, selling all these basic minor clothes. Then after a while, after going to service, it occurred to me that the kind of set of people I wrote.
People to believe my skills.
Unemployment and poverty also forced Willie to be a barber on the streets of highbrow Victoria Island in Lagos.
When I was growing up, father actually wanted me to do something good. Wanted me to go to school, wanted me to have a good grades in school. Well, you know the system in the country. When after the school stage, you come back, you graduate from school, you still don't have good jobs out there.
On the flip side, unemployment has led to the stagnation of some individuals who find it tough to adapt because of their specializations. Wale Scott, a professional sports broadcaster, lost his job at the peak of his career. His unemployment journey lasted about 7 years. Moving on and getting another job was more difficult than he had imagined it would be.
A Wale Scott with all that talent doesn't have a job. But I realized that every office I went to, when I picked myself up, when I get there, the guys who are in my department there are like, I beg, I space no day, because they have job security problems. As in, if this guy comes, he's going to take our job. That was my major reason why I didn't get a job that early. Everybody felt like, it's good. If he comes, he's going to take our job and all that. So I didn't get a job for a long time.
All this doesn't mean there aren't people who still get white-collar jobs. But what factors make some people employable and others unemployable?
As a job seeker, you need to position yourself to get that fresh information. The longer a job opening is out there, the reduced or the more reduced your chances as a job seeker to get shortlisted. So that's the first thing first is the information and the network. Then the next step is actually your own preparedness, which is your documents, your marketing tool, your CV. Anything that will sell you best should come first on your CV or should be prominent on your CV. There are some schools that if you are a graduate of that school, just put it at the bottom of your CV. So if your CV is a 3-pager, let it be maybe like the second to the last item on your CV. There are some schools that you need to put proudly on the first page because those schools are considered to be thorough and rigorous in their processes. So how do you apply? If you're applying to an online portal, fine, you have to upload your CV still. Or you could apply to an email. Usually such vacancies, there's always an email for you to send your email. So when applying, ensure that you're applying properly. And the basic rules are the subject must be the job title you're applying for. So for instance, if it's an accounting role, the subject should be accountant or accounting opening, something like that.
Everybody's got talent, but are you actually the right talent for that particular role? Then again, what exactly are you prepared? When I mean the right talent, you have the right skills, you have the right qualification, experience. So all this, and also it has to do with your behavioral attributes for the role. So if you have all this, yes, maybe you could actually get qualified for the role. But when you don't have this, you become like a misfit for the role. What makes people unemployable is also a determinant of your readiness. Are you available? Are you actually what we want for that role?
At a point in my life, I actually did consider it. And I was back in school. I did consider going into Yahoo Yahoo.
All right, so what changed your mind?
It's something that when I tried to, I felt this adrenaline rush of being scared of being caught, being scared of sitting in jail. It's something that I did try for like a week, not even, it didn't take up to 2 weeks, just a week. And within that week, it's something I understood that no, this is no way for me. Because, for example, there are a lot of youths that are just like me in the same markets that were into this business. And I've seen a whole lot of them that have bought cars just from this business, that have gotten a house just from this business.
There is no lady that is willing to do something that is illegal. Yeah. It's just due to the, what is it called? The bad economy in our country. Because I see myself as somebody that has really been focused from my childhood. There are some ladies that doesn't have patience in doing some things they do. That's why you see some runs girls around.
Our Nigerian youths won't try because go easy. At Ibere, kind of primary, from primary to secondary. Secondary, most of them are in university, not graduate. After graduation, on the serve, if you are a year, a year to be served. So one serve that most of them want to send the federal, one serve the federal, and one can serve the state. Instead to your country, me one, síbẹ̀, on that will go on le. So I'm out quickly and fresh. Most of them want online business, non she. About one agency, our youth not quite in business dancing.
So I feel a lot of people actually have this mindset of they want to go into legal ways and make it out of the legal ways. So one day they can always say, back then I never had it, but today I have it because I set my mind into this market business and not the other shady business, because no one knows tomorrow.
The problem is not the guys from the outside. It's actually from the inside. You don't get any more respect at home anymore. The wifey doesn't respect you anymore. Your mother, your parents don't respect you anymore. And if you are fortunate that you have siblings who actually have jobs during that period, the parents, people around you tend to actually give the respect to those people, and you lose your respect as the elderly one. So the time I felt I lost was the time I got into drinking, because people at home expect you to come back and they want to talk to you, they want to insult you, and to forget it, to get a deaf ear to the insult. You get to get drunk, get high, just come home and sleep. Whatever they're saying, you can't hear them. And it's a terrible mental state when you can't bring money out to feed your family, you can't bring money out to take care of the house. The worst part is when you go out in the mornings, early in the mornings to go and look for a job and come back in the evening, your neighbors are wondering, where does he go every day, Seth? As in, when it's time for them to pay for the woman that sweeps the floor, he can't pay. Time to pay for the rent, he can't pay. So where does he go every morning? But you can't stay at home as a man. But you still go out all day, come back at night, no luck. And then nobody at home is understanding that no luck, it happens. They're like, why would you have luck?
Most of my friends are already well made. And probably there are times when they will just call me, what's up? Knowing that I'm this kind of person that likes going to parties. I like going out. What's up, Roger? Come on, let's go out. Let's hang out. But due to the fact that I'm jobless and probably have no cash on me, I will just respectfully decline the offer.
Both the private sector and individual have roles to play as far as employment-related issues are concerned. Take the private sectors, for example. Private sectors, or private sector rather, not sectors. The private sector have they have to help to drive the public sectors in every area where it is failing. I give you a very good example. In the ongoing pandemic, the government of Nigeria has not been able to take to life any vaccine. Not because there are no researchers, not because there are no research institutes, but there were other factors that go into that space to make it happen. One of it is funding of research. We have to start changing the orientation of people. There is the mentality of quick wealth all around, all over the whole place, which is why a whole lot of young people are involved in Yahoo, in code, and all other things. And when you speak with them, they tell you, oh, it's because there are no jobs. That's why I have to go that way. But in the real sense, there is a due paying process period when people are supposed to commit to a job or a role or a work or a vocation and learn the ropes, become experts.
Everybody has a skill. Yeah. But it's just sacrificing the time and creating the time in making that thing grow in you.
When we talk about vocational trainings, right, I've come, just like you said, not like white collar jobs is not for everyone. I mean, we've come to realize that. At the moment at Jobberman, we are in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation. We are upskilling about 5 million, well, the mandate is 5 million young Nigerians over 5 years, right, and place 3 million of them in work. And of the 3 million of them that we're upskilling, some of the things that have come up is the importance of gig work, the importance of internship. So it's not just having a full-time employment, but having dignified employment, right? And blue-collar jobs also fall under dignified employment. However, because of the country that we're in, a lot of blue-collar jobs are not regarded as dignified, right? So you go anywhere outside the country, so maybe the developed world, and you have like a plumber, you have like a carpenter, and they are regarded and they are respected, right? However, in Nigeria, You have carpenters, you have plumbers, and most times those professions, although not white collar, are not regarded, right? So what we really would love to do is to make these blue collar jobs dignified. And how do we make them dignified? By teaching these people, or teaching people who are going through vocational trainings, the necessary skills that will make them stand out. So yes, white collar jobs are not the only answer when it comes to employment. Blue collar jobs as well are our answer to unemployment.
After all said and done, changing the public perception that white-collar jobs are the only dignified form of labor may just be a start in the eradication of the stigma of unemployment. More people are building businesses from their talents, passions, and hobbies.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Hello and welcome to Tea Time Roundup on Plus TV Africa, where the big stories live. Here I break down for you the fun-packed entertainment that made it to Tea Time this week. So please stay tuned and stick with your girl Elile. You don't want to miss this, trust me. First off, still on Coral BD, she spoke about her marriage in a video as she broke down in tears. Annie Dibia has reacted to young, famous and African feature. Funke Akindele JJ's skills were called out over AMVCA miscrediting allegations. Enjoy.
The thing is that you don't know what if people choose to show you what they want you to believe, or people choose to show you what they want you to think. Secondly, I feel like no one has the right to tell her not to be on social media. Whether she's strong or she's weak, if she chooses to do what she wants to do with her social media. If she doesn't want to openly come out and break down, it's her choice. If she wants to come out and dance it off or talk about it, it's okay. I feel like she personally, it's probably the pressure her fans give her to speak or say her side, because everybody wants to, just like when Davido and Chima's issue came up, and then they were forcing them to come out and clarify, but nobody did till now, and I respect them for that. Her fans pushed her to the left because initially she didn't want to come out. But she finally came out and gave her side of the story or whatever and whatnot. Good.
She did give her side of the story.
No, as in this is what the video we just watched. She came out and her view.
That's not her view. She's just breaking down for her fans. Like
she's just
whatever
telling
she did, but she has finally come out.
No, this is not the first
video. She has been putting out videos. That's my problem. She has been acting unbothered.
That's the
about
thing.
The whole
the thing is that I personally, I will not come out. You know, you guys know all those scenarios whereby, let's say you're money somebody, you will now on the camera,
you keep it, and you start crying.
Okay.
That's how you feel.
That
about
is so
this one.
pathetic. It's unnecessary. You feel me? Yeah. So I feel like you don't have to come out to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to prove anything to anybody.
You can just carry on with your life.
You can just carry on with your life. If you want to come out on social media and post your dance videos and whatnot, it's your choice.
Because I'm sure you knew beforehand that people would definitely
your fans
for
exactly.
you.
Thank you.
When
They're
you
your
post
fans.
these
They
videos.
love you. They adore you, but you don't owe your fans anything. That's
you
the,
don't
that's
owe
the
you actually you need to put yourself
You
first.
do not owe anybody
That's the thing.
anything.
You know, I think when we tackled it here, we also said, we spoke about her playing or acting strong and everything. I respect that. She's acting. She doesn't want to break down on social media. She doesn't want to come out. She doesn't want to react or whatnot. But the situation of people telling her, why she should leave social media, she should not post, she should take a break for a while.
Why?
Okay,
I feel at the
no,
same
wait,
time, okay.
sorry, I'm very sorry.
Yeah,
Now,
no,
you
no,
said
no.
why. That's obviously because you're not in support of people telling her what to do. Now, look at this video she posted. She's breaking down. Is social media helping her or not helping her?
That's the thing. There will be a negative and a positive. There's some people
Well,
that
no,
will
no,
positive
no, no,
to
no. I
it.
think at
she
this
has
point-
people that will support her regardless.
No, chill.
Have you seen that comment
You guys
section right
should
now?
wait. You said there is a negative and there is a positive.
Yeah.
Besides people supporting her, we've had people supporting her from the start, even when she hadn't said anything.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about in respect to this video coming on to cry and tell us. She first of all posted a video earlier and said Nigerians should stop telling her to dance and everything, and she actually she was literally shouting at us and everything. And now she has come here to tell us,
Please
in a different
comments,
you get that kind of thing.
kind,
So what
because-
exactly is the positive that is going to come out from this, if not more backlash, if not more dragging?
Now, she has her point. She knows why she did what she did. Okay. Now, regardless, I've also under those comments, you see some people defending her and telling
Of course, as
people
expected,
that
because
why
people
you
love
coming
her.
after her.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
There's still, in social media, there are people that will support you and people that will still drag you down.
No, sorry. Have you seen that comment section? There are people that actually support and all of that, sincerely.
Expected.
But out of 100, there are 90 that are against it.
No,
People who are even our friends,
you
don't get
it. The point here is, we're not in. We are. I love Cora. I said.
Obviously, I do not dislike
But we are
her.
talking about
Yes.
We are talking about these videos she's putting out. We're talking about people seeing these videos as unnecessary, not her grieving, not her reacting and everything. That is
But
not.
doesn't mean
we're
that
seeing
she
these
still shouldn't
videos.
have.
No, I always tell people, whatever works for you, please do it. Though. If you want to post yourself from morning to night, if you want to be live from morning to night, it's your problem. If that's how it works for you, that's fine and good. But at the same time, we're talking about now the majority of people, because you are putting it out there for people.
It's what is
you
right
get
and
the
what
point.
is
You are not
wrong.
putting it out there for yourself. If we are being honest.
Yeah.
Of course, you say we dress for ourselves, but we're not honest. We are posting on social media.
And you're not
you're
okay.
posting for people
and
to
these
see.
people do not care.
In
You
all
people who you
honesty.
actually think they care, they do
We
not
just
care.
want juice. I always tell you guys, we just want juice. We just want the juice.
Why is she apologizing to
A
them?
problem is shared is a problem discussed.
Yes, it
More
just
like
brings more
Do you
talk and
understand?
everything, and
So
you
I
begin
feel
to trend on all social media platforms.
Even if
and
you want to
everything.
dance, if that's the best way you can
For you to
probably
cope,
go,
yeah.
don't post it. Yes.
That you're just not for posting, and but you're for
You're
if she wants to
going
post, she should
through
post.
a period.
But all these theatrics and all these tears,
Yes.
you don't find them necessary.
You don't have to, because I feel like she's justifying like other people. She's trying to like please people, because most people attacked
She's trying
her
to
as
seek
well.
out pity.
Exactly, because most people attacked her for not coming out.
Yeah.
And okay.
For coming out or for not coming out?
No, for not coming out.
No,
When
at
she
the
didn't
initial
come out.
stage,
At
they
the
were telling
initial
her that
stage,
she
did
should
not.
make a comment and everything. She should
Exactly,
tell us what happened and
like
everything.
her own side and all. Like she was pushed to literally do this.
And do you know the funniest part of all of this? She still hasn't actually given us
She
her own
has not
side.
given us.
If you actually
Now,
look at
the
this,
thing
she hasn't
is,
given us her
not-
own side.
She said when she's strong enough, she would come out and give us her own
we
view.
keep seeing
But
her
this
every
particular video, exactly, stay on
keep seeing
social
her
media.
every day.
It
If
can't
you are talking
heal
about
you.
strength,
It would not
these
help
people
you.
are going to
drain you. That's what you're,
like,
you're
that is
hurting yourself.
Exactly. So we keep seeing you every day, and you want strength. Now you are not just posting. She's
literally begging them to be
debuted,
kind.
a book and everything. So you're not posting your book. You're not posting maybe your ads or
your
just you
babies
just
or
dancing or something.
Exactly.
You are posting.
No, she also posted her book though.
No, like you're not posting just that. You are also posting to get reaction.
They painted her, yeah, because they wanted the controversy and
They
they
wanted
the
reactions from us.
conversational. But no, thinking about it, almost everybody in that movie, every character in that show, on that show, had the same story. Like, it was mainly love. I think that was what that was preaching. Everybody's love life. Most of them's love life. Even the one who called herself the boss lady and all. We didn't really go into their business. We didn't really go into their career life and all of that.
And you know, people will always talk when it comes relationship matter. That is, people will always talk. Like, we
Do
have
you
a lot of
understand?
things
Like,
to say.
I think that one buys more. What's it called? It gives more audience. Like, it gets more audience rather. So. I don't know why it feels like that, but I feel they really made that look so vulnerable
they have dragged
in the
her,
movie.
they have praised her, more of dragging though, because based on what I saw on the streets of Twitter, even on Instagram and everything. So I think it's more of dragging. They're like, she shouldn't be there. Like, what does she think she's doing? She feels she's strong. Is this? And people are like, if this is your definition
you
of a
know
strong
how
woman,
Twitter can be.
Yeah, like, and people are like, if this is your definition of a strong man, then
they don't
I
want
do not want
it.
to be a
Now,
strong
obviously,
woman.
this Gen Z would not want to. She's a typical African woman. It said even during the show, there were places people made comments like, you don't like, why would you stay in that? Even the other characters were like, why would you still be in that marriage? Why would you want to stay there? But then they saw it differently when they saw both of them. It's not, love is not, it's not something you can define for somebody.
Yeah, it's deeper than what we understand.
To be, exactly. Yeah. And obviously, that is love. Did you see Annie all over Two-Face in that movie? Did you see Annie? And I'm like, I want to be loved, but like the way she loved Innocent, like obviously not the other way around, but I want to be loved like that. Yes. Do you know what it takes for a woman to love you that much?
That intensely and put up with everything.
Man.
From days of African Queen and everything. Like,
before African Queen, they said they met together for 19 years.
That they met when she was 16, I think.
Babe, this is beyond what we even saw on TV. Definitely.
Obviously.
It's beyond it. You can't define somebody's family. You can't define somebody's life. You can choose to do what. See, there are people who go through domestic violence every day, even though everybody is behind the camera and saying, I have a perfect marriage, I have a perfect relationship, I can't stick to this man because it's this. It's a lie.
People are actually there.
They're only trying to destroy you.
This is exactly what we were saying yesterday. When whatever you give us is what we are going to react to.
Do you understand?
We do not know the totality of everything, but
exactly.
the content, whatever you put out there is what the viewers are going to react to. And that is
Exactly.
what they actually really weighed on. The fact that if they give us juicy, in quotes, if they give us juicy content like this, a lot of people were pushed to go and watch it because of the reactions, the
And all of
tweets,
that.
the memes, and everything.
Yeah. But I think that was exactly what the producers wanted. So they knew where they were going, and they probably knew the length of the movie they wanted. So
I get
and it's not just about one person, it's about like 10 to 15 characters.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, it's more than that.
Well, let's see what is going to come.
I am expecting.
I know you.
I'm waiting for it because the suspense at the end of that movie, guys.
If you have not seen it, this is Kofo telling you that if you have not seen it,
young, famous in Africa, my darling, I don't know, maybe that part they will not put the they'll put the Annie's part where she want them to put like the old part they missed out and all of that. Maybe they will not bring that in. But we all know Annie is very hardworking. And one thing again I would like to make reference to is the fact that Annie has a problem with the fact that they do not respect her as Annie, but as Two-Face's wife. At the beginning of the movie, she made a statement and said, Two-Face kind of overshadows everything you do. Like, everything she does is like she's doing it under the shadow of Two-Face. She said she has featured in over 200 movies. She has done this, she has done that. She's a mother, she's this and that. She has a lot of bio, and definitely we all know that. Anna is a very, very good actress, and she has been in
basically what she was saying. That
industry. Exactly. But then everybody is like, oh, Annie Idibia, Two-Face's wife. They don't put Annie Idibia, the Nollywood actress. Annie Idibia, the this. She's so much more than being Two-Face's wife. That's what she tries to tell us all the time. And I think that's where she's still trying to get this point from. Like, why is he always surrounded by Two-Face? Why does he always have to be it's all about our relationship? Why does she always have to look vulnerable? Like,
when it comes to anything she's talking about, it has to be somehow dragged
around
to center around.
Do you understand? So
I get where she's coming from, and I actually, you already know me, that I don't really, I just watch off the net. I actually haven't really seen the series.
It's a reality TV show that I really enjoyed so much because it was real. There were so many real people.
But this is the second movie or show you are going to be getting me to go and watch.
Okay, which was the first one I got you to watch?
Is it Oloture?
Oh, okay, Oloture.
Yeah, when you guys were commenting.
Trust me, I am not so much big on Hollywood, but once
we know Funke. and we know JJC. We know them to be reputable and everything. I don't feel like they would
not pay.
They will just not pay. I feel like both sides need to be heard in this story before we can judge one part or say, oh, why didn't they pay? And just, most people are quick to believe, you understand? So instead of just, why didn't they pay him? Oh, why didn't they give him his credit and everything? Give him his credit. Oh, this is that. Because I don't think you paid someone to do a job for you. They did it, they delivered. And you will take them out. You just take their names out of the credit. Yeah. It's just like a scenario we also tackled on the table. Stoneboy's mom. Sorry, Shatawale, please forgive me. Shatawale's mom came out on there and said, oh, she is homeless, this, that. And we're so quick to judge him, to get mad and everything. When we went to do our research, we found out that, okay, this woman is actually, you understand? So I feel in this situation, we should not be quick to, oh, why didn't they give him his, you understand? This is ABC. But I feel like, personally,
are we saying this because it's Funke Akindele and JJC? And if this was another person, would it have been another story entirely?
No, the same thing applies to everybody. We should not be quick to judge. Okay. This doesn't seem as something normal. Any normal person, with any normal person, I feel like both sides should be heard at least.
Is that what you feel too, Miles?
No, I'm different. I'm just waiting for you to finish.
No, don't wait for me. I'm giving it to you.
Give what belongs.
Oh, drama.
Did he say so?
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
What we read?
Please.
He didn't.
Did.
According to the story that is online right now, he didn't say nothing about payment. He actually said about not giving his credit and giving his credit to someone else. Right?
Yeah.
And giving his credit to someone else. That is Prophet T. Now, Prophet T scored a song by doing a soundtrack.
Okay.
He was a sound engineer.
Yeah.
Now, he reached out to Mariah reached out to JJC and like, wow, I saw the nomination list and everything, and my name happens not to be there. And JJC said, oh, I'm sorry. That one sent him apologies. Like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Like, I will get back to them and make sure they rectify this. Now, JJC didn't say, I beg, just take it like that, blah, blah. He said it was a mistake somewhere that he'll get back to them. Now, I think what I think Mariah should have done is, like you did earlier, you reached out to this guy, reach out to him again. You don't have to rush to come to social media. Yeah. It just seems like a whole lot of, yes, I know you want to get your flowers. I know this is your work, this is your sweat and everything. You want to be credited for it.
Something as big as AMVCA.
AMVCA, with I'm gonna get to the saga, which was a big movie, by the way. So I think he should have just done the same thing he did earlier and chilled a little bit. Now, maybe after or while the award now comes proper and that thing has still not been rectified, then you can come out and do this, right? This is the second time I'm hearing anybody drag the Belos. Like, Funke is not into stuff like that. She doesn't have that time. Right, so...
And why should you not give the person that obviously...
No human being, no normal thinking human being that is in the spotlight will not do that.
Even if they have...
Do you understand? I think the first thing he did was the right thing. You reached out to them. XYZ, why is my name not there? Like, oh, sorry, it was a slip up somewhere, but we'll rectify it. Then he should have just chilled.
It might probably not even be from JJC's
fault.
Like, maybe the person he told, okay, treat this, and the person failed to do it.
And it's not something they might have to be able to change almost immediately. Just like when the whole Coachella thing happened with Burna Boy, and his name was in small fonts, and he's like, I want my name to be changed. I'm an African giant, blah, blah, blah. They didn't change it immediately. It took a while before they even increased the font a little bit. So it's not something they can just change immediately.
Exactly.
Like that. So I think he should just chilled. Like, for me. Yeah, nobody's saying he doesn't deserve his accolades and everything, but relax. It's not that.
But then again, I feel his pain because, I mean, if AMVC is a huge platform, okay, and personally, most people can reach out to you. Oh, okay, this is the person that did this for Omogeto. Oh, he's the nominee AMVC. Okay, I want to work with him. I want to do that. So I understand his anger. I understand his. But then again, I feel like he should have tackled it.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
Welcome back. Within hours of calling Funke Akindele and JJC, AMVCA responded to the call out. We had a guest, Gifted Baba, who spoke about his music and new album. Enjoy.
He only fought for himself, so definitely deserved his credit.
And I think that also brings us to the fact that, man, not only picking way raise and then they carry.
Yes, now.
Do you understand? A lot of people will go and be ranting to their friends, rant to their, you know, but come out and talk. So, which is why when people say, is there everything you must say on social media, you can't address them. What helped this guy right now? Social media. Do you understand?
If he didn't come out like that now and say, okay, why is my name not there? Why does it have to be another person or maybe their name? So I feel like he ended.
Because you can't tell me he doesn't have Funke Akindele's number. He could have called her directly